Good evening to the Dugout and that entire fiasco involving India, Bangladesh and ICC. So BCCI, BCB and ICC seems to have taken yet another turn. You are no far away from a solution or no close to the solution as you were 4 days ago, 5 days ago, 1 week ago. You're still in the same situation where nothing really has been finalized. ICC is trying to find a way out. BCB, backed by the Bangladesh board, is not relenting, and BCCI is playing the waiting game, waiting for first official word from ICC, and then they'll chart their next course of action. So that's where the situation is. And even though the needle hasn't moved in the last 1 week, so much is happening behind the scenes and also in front of the scenes in terms of official communication, that it's giving us a glimpse as to where this entire thing is heading at the moment. So what has happened in the last 48 hours, or the last actually 30 hours to be precise, last about 24 to 30 hours, lots has happened. Lot has happened, starting from their sports
Minister
representative Nazrul.
Yeah.
He is basically the default sports minister.
Yeah.
He has said that ICC is also accepted, and I'm now only quoting, these are not our views, I'm saying whatever people have been saying. So Bangladesh government is saying that ICC has accepted that there is a security threat to Bangladesh players. In short, I'm explaining. ICC, through its various sources, has denied this claim. Bangladesh Cricket Board has said that yes, there was a communication between the ICC and us with regards to security, but it was not supposed to be put in public domain as their sports minister put it out. But they're not denying the communication. Then there was a meeting this afternoon between the Bangladesh cricket officials and ICC, where ICC has said, come on, let's find a way. Bangladesh Cricket Board is saying, nothing doing, we cannot play. We are worried about the security of our players, fans, media, whatever, and we cannot come. And ICC has now gone back and will decide on the next course of action. This is what has happened.
Yes.
So plenty of to and fro's in the last 30 odd hours. So
And we are left with only 25 days for the ICC T20 World Cup. 25 days to go until your opening game on February 7th. And now you're fighting a two-front mess that is there. You somehow managed to scrape through the Asia Cup. But now this is in a broader situation, the ICC T20 World Cup. And it also comes amidst another interesting development that has happened in the USA team as well.
That's nothing new though.
Yeah.
It's been there for a few days now. Yeah.
4 Pakistan origin players, their visas have been denied. So they can't come.
Yeah.
USA cricket, they are suspended anyways. So in order to get the communication through to the ICC will have to have a communication with themselves. Because they can't communicate through USA cricket, right? ICC is running USA cricket.
No, but that's immaterial.
Yeah.
I think the fact of the matter is there are 8 countries at the moment which have Pakistani origin players.
Yes.
And all those 8 countries will find it tough now to come. In fact, UAE have not even announced their team. They've not announced their team because I think 5-6 players are of Pakistani origin there. And if they're not going to be given visas to come and play in India, then they don't know what kind of team that they should come. Basically, there is a lot of uncertainty with that as well. But that's a separate matter.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's a separate debate. So I don't want to get into that particular debate. I think that has various layers as well. So all I'm saying is there is uncertainty there as well. And now it's not about one country, Pakistan, which is not coming to India. They're going to Sri Lanka. But 8 other countries have players of Pakistani origin. And they have not been given visa. I think it happened with the England team. One of their spinners did not get the visa and he could not tour India, if I'm not mistaken. Off spinner was
it Rehan Ahmed?
there was an issue. He missed a test match or something.
Yeah, because of Rehan Ahmed. Yeah, he did.
He did not get a visa.
Yeah,
All I'm saying is that was still a bilateral series.
Yeah.
You can't have a situation where if Pakistani origin players out of those 8 teams don't get a visa, what is that going to do to the tournament? That's another big, massive storm that might erupt at that time. You cannot have a tournament where 8 countries don't get their full strength team.
Yeah.
But that maybe that they might find a solution and the visas might come through, even though they may be delayed, they might come through. I don't know. But that's another thing that they'll have to deal with. So we're not getting into it. That we'll have enough opportunity to discuss. Let's get back to the Bangladesh. Issue. And where do you think the matter is at the moment?
Now you're stuck in neutral. You're trying to climb uphill, but you're stuck in neutral. You're not moving back and forth. This is an unprecedented situation that the ICC will have to face, because let us remember, in the past, there have been tensions. One team has not played a particular game, but they have not boycotted the whole tournament. It happened with England against Zimbabwe in 2003. It happened to New Zealand on security grounds against Kenya. Those were the instances that were there. It happened with Australia and West Indies in 1996 when they refused to play in Sri Lanka because of the security situation. They forfeited points. Sri Lanka got a walkover. Here, you're talking about one whole nation.
But can I tell you that in those situations you're talking about, whether 1996 or 2003, on both those occasions, the team that pulled out knew fully well that it will not dent too much of their chances going into the next round. The format was such. Here, it is about eliminating a full team out of the tournament. So there is a distinction to be made between what happened in 96 and 2003.
Here you are staring at two possibilities, because Bangladesh are playing hardball. They are adamant. They will not play because of the tensions that have existed since 2024. Now, if they don't play, are they going to be replaced by some other team?
Associate nation will have to be.
Or whatever games are there that is allocated to them, is it going to be a straight forfeiture?
What if first we'll get to what might happen. What have you made of the communication so far? Where do you think the thing is? Is Bangladesh lying by saying that they have not been made aware of the situation, or ICC is saying different things? Where do you think the
ICC has not said anything till now. What is baffling is, the one thing with Bangladesh cricket, I must say, the social media activity and these press releases have definitely been on the up.
It's not social media, it's official press release.
Press release.
No,
their communication is
made
on.
through social media.
No, they're putting it through
through their channels.
Also,
Exactly.
Not just social media.
So,
it's an official communication.
by social media, I'm not trivializing or saying that it's unauthentic.
No, social media is usually sources. They
No.
are putting it on their website. They are mailing in their.
They are putting it on their website. They're putting it on their Insta, Facebook, everything. They're making it as official as possible.
It's an official communication.
Exactly.
Official
one thing with Bangladesh cricket I've noticed is they are making everything official now. They don't want to keep any cards close to the chest. In fact, I remember the time that many outlets on Indian soil had carried certain pieces of news, and just within a few hours you had Bangladesh again issue another communique which cleared the air that no such rejections happened, we're still in talks. And also, one thing Bangladesh cricket has been doing is it's been trying to make things as clear as possible. They've been trying to communicate as much as possible. Look at yesterday, for example, there was something that was said by the advisor, to which they issued a press release later on saying, no, whatever was said, yes, that was for internal communication, internal reference point it wasn't to be made public, but we maintain our stance of not going to India for the T20 World Cup. So definitely, on terms of how much they are relaying to the public, to the cricketing world, 10 on 10 to what they are doing, or that when I say 10 on 10 doesn't mean I agree with the decisions that they're making, but 10 on 10 to the job of communicating news.
What their stance
to the people.
At the moment, we don't know ICC's stance.
Exactly.
Bangladesh 1, ICC 0.
Exactly. But this whole situation is murky to me even till now. And it's funny that there are two primary entities over here, third and BCCI, but they have very little to do as things stand. At the moment, there's the BCB and the ICC. There's one board that is making things as clear as possible. The ICC, if the BCB was speaking out of line, would have spoken also by now. However, the ICC is not. The ICC has not formally till date.
They're saying through channels.
Yeah, that's
saying
the problem.
Through channels, but it doesn't add up. For every little move, the BCB is trying to put an official version out. As long as the ICC is not contradicting it, I will agree to everything that the BCB is saying.
No. Now there is proof also. I don't know how many of you have seen. So the ICC communication, I've seen now that communication. So the ICC, I'm just trying to see if I can give you a screenshot. Somebody had sent it to me. I'm going to send you the screenshot of that particular communication. So see, nobody, now there is a conflict. Many people thought that there is this fight happening within Bangladesh because whatever their sports minister, de facto sports minister has said, and whatever the BCB has said, there are two different things, right? So one second, I'm going to send Pawan this screenshot.
Okay.
And he is going to show it to us here. So this is from the official communication that was there between ICC as well as
the BCB.
BCB. And now, as I said, I'm not looking at sources or anything. I'm showing you this official communication that is there between them. So I have sent this to Pawan. He'll probably try and have it up on the screen. So just to let you know, while BCB has kind of pulled away from the sports minister's statement, but they have not disagreed with his statement.
Yeah.
So if you read BCB's press release, they said they have not denied what the sports minister said is wrong. They've said this was not supposed to come out. This was an internal communication between ICC and us. Sports minister shouldn't have made it public, and that's where they disagree with him. But in terms of the statement, they kind of agree with what has happened. So this is the actual letter from which I've got a screenshot for you to share. This was the internal letter that was sent, that Bangladesh Cricket Board and ICC were dealing with.
Yeah.
So what this letter says, and it's in line with what their sports minister said. This letter says, based on ICC's risk assessment, he said that independent risk assessments were completed in December 2025 by ICC. This is ICC writing to Bangladesh Cricket Board, which agree that the assessed risk to the men's T20 Cricket World Cup 26 to be staged in India is moderate.
Moderate, yeah.
Whereas the independent risk assessments were completed in 2025, which agree that the assessed risk to be staged in India is moderate, right? Whereas the risk assessment for Bangladesh is moderate to high.
Yeah.
So to support these assessments, a short form risk assessment has been commissioned, what states that the assessed risk remains as moderate with no specific threat to Bangladesh team being identified, with a caveat. So they are saying, to make it very simple, ICC is saying they've done individual risk assessment and tournament assessment. Tournament said that the tournament is moderate. The risk for any team in India is moderate, which is, by the way, very normal in all tournaments across the globe. But for Bangladesh, they have said moderate to high. Why have they said moderate to high? Because with a caveat there. So it's moderate for the rest of the team, but the caveat says that the presence of Mustafizur Rahman may be problematic if religious extremism becomes kinetically engaged. So overall risk assessment, according to ICC, of the Bangladesh team is also moderate, which I think is acceptable. I think most teams go and play tournaments with moderate risk assessment. The only caveat they've put that if Mustafizur is in that team, then that risk assessment can be between moderate to high. And this is what their sports minister held on to and made a public statement, which the Bangladesh Cricket Board got upset with, saying that this is our internal communication. Why did you make this public? Now, so the truth remains, what the ICC is saying is also right, what the Bangladesh Cricket Board is saying is also right, but I'll tell you where the confusion is. What ICC is saying, the threat is moderate, in moderate you must play. So nothing has changed. So when they had a video conference today, just to let you know, when they had the video conference today, ICC is telling them that threat is moderate, which is normal, you come and play. Bangladesh board is saying threat is moderate but can be high if Mustafizur is there. Why should we not send Mustafizur? Why should we have our team less? To which ICC, this is what I've heard, ICC has said that don't worry, we will provide you extra. Indian government has assured us, BCCI has assured us, you will get absolute security as you want. Then why don't you send your team when every guarantee has been taken and overall risk is moderate, which is normal? To which Bangladesh is saying that our own assessment tells us, your assessment maybe, our own assessment tells us there's a threat. In that caveat, there is also another, I read the whole document, I don't have a screenshot, but I also read the whole document. They also put another caveat that the threat can be high if Mustafizur is there and if religious extremism becomes kinetically engaged. These are ICC's words. And it can be high if fans are walking around in a Bangladesh jersey.
Yeah.
Two conditions they put. Now BCB is stuck on to those things, saying, one, we are not going to remove Mustafizur from our team. Two, our fans are also going to come and I can't ask my fans not to wear a Bangladesh jersey and walk around. So they've also held on to those two things to reinstate their point. And now they are arguing that this states that the risk is high, we don't want to come. And this is where the logjam has happened. This is where both ICC is also right in saying we'll provide security, but BCB is also stuck that they will not come. So it's not that any party is lying. Whether it's the ICC, whether it's the Bangladesh Cricket Board, whether it was a sports minister as well, all are saying the same thing, but it's all saying it from their point of view. If I see from ICC's point of view, I'm saying moderate is there now. If I was ICC, I'll tell you moderate risk assessment is normal, it happens in all tournament, come. And as far as those, if this happens, that happens, don't worry, ifs and buts, we are giving you extra security. Indian government is assured, you'll be safe, come. This is what I'm saying. So I'm finding it very tough that Siddharth is not listening to me. But now I'm Siddharth, now you're ICC. Now you're telling me the same things. I'm saying, no boss. Why? And this is a fact. Because Bangladesh are also taking it upon their ego. Na? It's not now, again, if it was just about security, then maybe you would have expected Bangladesh to take 2 steps forward. But I think maybe Bangladesh Cricket Board also would have taken those 2 steps forward to continue cricket in happening. But I think now that the government has come in, it's become an ego clash and their fans are now backing whatever the government is saying because they have taken it upon themselves as a thing of national pride. And you know what governments do? They pander to the ego of the fans because they need votes. They're going to have elections. So they're going to do that. So now they're stuck on that. So they are, in all of this, the sacrificable lamb is the tournament which is itself. The T20 World Cup. This is where the situation is at the moment.
Well, it's a hydra or it's a situation that has been created by Bangladesh themselves. Let's make no mistake about it. Of course.
Why?
Of course. Look at, ever since November 2024.
They were nudged.
Who nudged them?
Bangladesh cricket was nudged.
Bangladesh nudged themselves off the cliff.
Why?
Look at what happened in November 2024. When a so-called revolution toppled the government there and the Prime Minister in exile is in India. Now who has come in Bangladesh? A government that is hostile to India. Now, what escalated? That is why you saw that in 2024 they had to postpone
Siddharth,
the series.
if you ask me, my assessment tells me the escalation happened the moment that a single player from the IPL who was rightly in the auction was singled out.
Okay, now I am coming to that. Okay,
because if there was a problem, and that problem was, I was looking at reports, the minorities have been targeted not over the last 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Minorities have been targeted for a while. Yes,
exactly.
There's been a change in the number of incidents, perhaps, or the gravity of instances, but otherwise, it's been happening. Then you ask questions to the BCCI. Then
everybody.
Why is it that Mustafizur Rahman was there in the auction pool?
Okay, so I'm just coming into that step by step. Let's look at the chronology. Okay, November 2024, relations between India and Bangladesh deteriorate to a point where it is now you are in hostile territory. Because of what happened in that revolution, you overthrew the Sheikh Hasina government and now you got Mohammad Yunus leading the country there currently. Okay, minorities have been persecuted. The gravity of the situation continued to increase and increase and increase. Okay, now the third step in this is IPL officials, BCCI officials, franchisee officials, all the stakeholders are paying for their ostrich approach. You mean to tell me that the IPL franchisees, the BCCI, the officials and all did not know what was the situation in Bangladesh? Conveniently, they ignored that and they got Mustafizur into the pool when you shouldn't have included any Bangladeshi player in the pool.
But then that is a call that the BCCI had to take now. That is the IPL governing council to decide which players enter the pool or not. And if you're being so interfering now, you should have applied your brain and been proactive earlier.
When has
Indian creating this whole mess?
When has Indian diplomacy and has Indian sports applied brains? Look at Operation Sindoor.
The question lies. I think the question has to be directed to the governing council then.
That is what. Have I absolved the BCCI or the IPL governing council of all the things? No. But where did the fire start from? It started in Dhaka. You conveniently ignored the fire and it is now singeing you.
Let's be honest, which country will not feel insulted the way Bangladesh cricket would feel right now? If there was one Indian player playing in some corner of the world, and we'd be very proud because that's a league in which, let's take NBA for example. If in NBA there is an Indian national, not an Indian origin player. If there's an Indian national playing in the NBA and the US comes up with a stance, if it can slap 500% tariffs on you, it can do anything to anyone right now. Would we not be feeling aggrieved? Anyone would be feeling aggrieved if the US was to take a stance. No, just because relations are such and such with India, we're not going to be having any Indian play in the NBA then.
US was hosting some tournament in India, didn't go, I'd be okay with it.
No. Yeah.
If they had kicked one of our players out, I'd be okay. But my point is, it's not about the genesis of the thing. Whatever be the genesis, I'm going back to the point that you are making. You are saying that right now, and I'm just sticking to, it doesn't matter whether it started from Mustafizur or it started from the Bangladesh government, whatever. See, our focus is on cricket and we want to get to the bottom of the cricketing issue. And that's why I go back to that question. No matter what the genesis is, I'm going by that line that currently the situation between the two countries is very hostile, in your words. So that takes me to the other question. Is it prudent then for Bangladesh to be coming and playing in India? If the condition is hostile?
Not at all.
Then what would be the most sensible thing to do? I'll give an example, and I'm saying it as an Indian right now. If the conditions are hostile, and I agreed with that fact that Mustafizur was not in the IPL, I supported it. I said, good call taken. Why would I want to also have why would I want to host the Bangladesh team here? Okay, that's one thing. They go and play in Sri Lanka. We are not upset with Pakistan not coming and playing. Are we upset?
No.
We are happy that Pakistan is playing in Sri Lanka. We asked for it. Right. Let them go and play in a way. We are happy. Similarly, Bangladesh want to go. I don't think we lose out on anything. They could clearly, yes, BCCI deserves those many matches. Ensure that some other country comes and plays in those many games. And so that those number of matches are held in India minus Bangladesh. I don't think that's a defeat for India. First things first. Anyway, you are saying situation is hostile. I'm not getting into who's if you ask anybody from there, they'll say India is responsible. You ask us, we'll say Bangladesh is responsible, right? So that. Secondly, if you get to a logjam situation, and we'll get to that, what is the only logjam? The only solution is either you move the games to Sri Lanka or, as most Indian fans are saying, kick Bangladesh out of the tournament. Assuming, let's say, the second thing happens, BCCI flexes his muscles, ICC goes with BCCI, and Bangladesh are removed from the tournament. It's now too late to get a replacement team. No team is ready now to come and participate in that. What are you going to do on those match days? Empty grounds? Those days matches won't happen. Those teams will be given walkover. You don't think that will become international news? That will become. What would be everyone, and you know how international media loves to run down or look at areas of concern, because India is a rising power. They like to show India in poor light all the time. They're waiting for that. What will be the headlines that most people will run? India unable to conduct a tournament. We have just heard the Prime Minister say we want to host the Olympics. We are serious about it. You've heard the Sports Minister say that. We are hosting the Commonwealth Games also, right? Do you want that sort of an image to go out, that there was a tournament here where matches could not take place because one country refused? I think it's in India's interest, and I'm saying it, as someone I'm not even being neutral here. I'm not even looking at Bangladesh. I'm just purely looking at India's interest as someone neutral. I'd be like, it's good, move those matches out. One, your tournament goes ahead as planned without any headache. You get those many games of any other country coming and playing here. Anyway, there's hostility. People are not going to like Bangladesh playing on Indian soil. Let them be there. I think it's in India's interest if this thing happens. Absolutely in India's interest if that happens. I think in either cases, which is banning Bangladesh completely or not getting them to play a tournament, will, in the longer run, nothing will happen to Bangladesh. They're not going to ever host the Olympics or have anything like that. They have no skin in the game. They're not competing with the rest of the world to be a destination for sporting this thing. They miss out on a tournament. They're not even contenders of the tournament. They don't lose out on anything. In fact, at all, they will get brownie points back in their country. The government will become a hero. They sacrifice the tournament. They'll get all votes. For them, it works. Kick them out. It'll show my own country in poor light. That's why I'm saying best solution for BCCI is also.
No, but then
Please take that.
I think even if
Sri
this is
Lanka.
what happens, or if Bangladesh had to pull out, and that also will make for a lot of news.
Bangladesh won't pull out.
I'm
ICC
saying-
will chuck them.
Yeah,
Chuck them out.
whatever, and you replace them with an associate nation then,
No,
right?
can't happen. No, the teams
Only
will practice.
25 days
there
are there.
3 days to
Or
go.
even worse, as you
weeks,
suggested,
Yeah.
or I'm
Those games will then be null and void.
exactly
Yeah, they'll
even
be
worse,
walkovers.
walkovers. That will also make for a lot of noise,
Exactly
right? The
my
West
point.
will pick that up as well. I'm just saying, if India are trying to position itself as a sporting
Exactly.
hub.
Exactly what I just said.
No, but then I think it goes against the interest as well.
That's what I'm saying. If you are going to have walkovers, that's worse.
Exactly. So
that's
if
what I
India are
said.
looking at Olympics and all, if India are looking at Olympics, the CW is sealed now.
Even CWD, that's what I'm saying. It's good Bangladesh moves out. Instead of having walkovers, which looks really poor on the host nation, let them move out.
No, but if see, it's
Good.
it's globally known that Pakistan, India, there's a lot of fight between the two of them, and now there's another neighboring nation which doesn't want to visit India. If you want to position yourself as a sporting powerhouse, then I don't think your bids are going through then.
No, but
Diplomatically,
then
there is so much of voting, etc., and the bid that you present again, this is not going to paint a very good picture of you. If you have this stance, we are not visiting, we are not calling people over.
No,
if
but
this
that
is the
is
thing,
not changing anyway, no, Harshit. Can you decide for Bangladesh? You can't. See, as I said, you could have pushed Bangladesh if they really wanted to play that tournament. I'm just saying right now. If it was any other country that was a contender for the tournament or that they cared about it and there was no government involved, if it was just BCB, let's say, they would have agreed. And they would have walked 2 steps. Maybe, if these reassurances were made, they would have said, Acha, okay, we'll make. Or you could have done something, as I'm saying, move the games out of Bombay and wherever, have somewhere
Kolkata.
else. They might have taken to. Right now, it's out of the Bangladesh Cricket Board's hands.
Can
It's
I
in the
just
government.
say-
They're more than happy if they don't play.
one more thing with this episode that I've come to realize, we've talked about, years have gone by of us talking about the kind of financial muscle and the kind of might the BCCI have when it comes to ICC forums and all. But looking at how situations and particularly this episode's played out, you felt that, BCCI is over here, probably the other boards with the gulf there is in cricketing wise or financial might, etc., there's a huge gulf. For the fight and the resolve that BCB have shown, I wonder how big that gap really counts for, because I'm surprised with the kind of ground that the BCB have held over here. They're not as subservient to the BCCI as I had in mind. That gulf, financial muscle, everything, it's not resulted in anything I'm saying.
Cannot, no, because you got to realize, see, Harshit, how ICC works. Of course, BCCI has not even, Bangladesh Cricket Board is not even 10% of what BCCI is, not even 5%, I might say. That is okay. But this is based on ICC, where Bangladesh is also a full member.
Yeah.
And you're also a full member. It's going back to what we discussed about Sepp Blatter. He was smart enough. He realized that, it's very tough to tame the Spains and England and Germany of the world who are footballing powerhouses. But he realized Germany also has the same vote and Zimbabwe also has the same vote.
Yeah.
In football, Zimbabwe is nothing.
Yeah.
Chad also has the same vote as Spain does.
Yes.
So he worked with vote bank. See, again, that is something that India used to do. I gave you an example of a Jagmohan Dalmia. When there was England and Australia, at one point when BCCI wasn't strong, England, Australia were the strongest board. But what did Dalmia realize? That it does not matter. England, Australia at that time together was stronger than India, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, so many countries put together. But that doesn't matter. Vote is one. He got Bangladesh into the test fold because of that. Made friends with Sri Lanka, made friends with Pakistan. Yeah. Imagine Pakistan, India were standing together to fight the Western. Yeah. So it's about that. For you to eliminate Bangladesh, you will have to have a vote in, which I think, see, BCCI, to your point, I think BCCI is still very powerful. See, the fact is that BCCI has, this also BCCI did few years ago, where initially ICC revenue used to be equally divided amongst the permanent members. But it's now changed. BCCI gets the lion's share. Yeah. Then comes England, then comes Australia, then comes Pakistan. It keeps reducing.
Yeah.
So, but BCCI has managed. BCCI couldn't have managed if they weren't that powerful. They're still that powerful. And they continue to remain powerful. But the thing is, now when you're going to do ICC, then you need to get everyone's vote in. There will be a meeting. Then you have to be mindful of a lot of things. I could be the strongest person that there is, but you have to see now what will happen to the Asian Cricket Council when Asia Cup comes. There though you are only few limited countries. What are you going to do? You're looking at a split. In all of this, the one who's having fun is Pakistan, who've jumped into the whole thing, who's saying we'll host the matches, which is preposterous. Again, that idea, that will never happen. If the games have to be moved, they'll be moved to Sri Lanka. But I'm saying they will enjoy this as bystanders. They'll jump into the thing, we'll support. Because Mohsin Naqvi has been upset about India not coming to Champions Trophy to Pakistan. That whole old thing, that trophy thing is still must be aching them. No? So they're also waiting. I'm just saying ICC has to be mindful of all these things. We as, Indians can, that's why I say sometime in Josh you can't lose your hosh. We can just say, get lost, we don't want it or whatever. And maybe the tournament cannot happen without India, but tournament can definitely happen without Bangladesh. I don't deny it. But I'm saying there will be also fallouts of that. Yeah. Not as big as when India doesn't play.
But the moment
those fallouts you have to look after for the ICC, for BCCI
the moment, again, no disrespect, you said, it's a sport, it's a competition. It's a sporting competition. Yes, there are certain teams that go in with some weight. There are some teams that don't. But after a point, they've all got to be looked at the same level. You don't distinguish. So that's what I'm saying. Yes, the tournament can go.
I agree that BCCI gets the maximum out of it.
That's
you're
fine.
Not looking
Exactly.
At them at the same
but
level. But
let's not forget.
Gets the maximum money, so they take.
Let's not forget that this is again a Bangladesh team that has threatened to take matches away from you. It's the same team that had again threatened you in Adelaide in 2022. It troubled you in 2016 as well. There's been too many good contests. But I'm just saying the moment that you do something.
There's a huge
gulf between India.
I'm just saying that yes, the full member nation, and if a full member nation is to go out unceremoniously like this, then it makes the tournament a bit of a farce. It's not good for the sport. It's not great advertisement
for the sport, but I don't think it's a deal breaker. I think the tournament can happen.
No, but teams have to be respected enough. Teams have to be respected enough. There are participating teams.
In the case of Pakistan and Bangladesh, it can't happen.
Sorry?
In the case of Pakistan and Bangladesh, it can't happen.
They're a sporting nation.
If that was the case, why did you agree to a hybrid for Pakistan? I want to know.
Which is why, see,
if it was that, then I go with it. Then on the moment Pakistan asked for a hybrid for this tournament, you shouldn't have agreed. You should have said, come and play here.
Which is why I'm saying, see, all our ICC officials, the BCCI and all of the stakeholders, they don't care about the broader polity that is there. They're just greedy. They're just greedy people out there. In a normal world, you shouldn't have played Pakistan at all after Operation Sindoor. But then you yourself stooped to that level and you played them not once, not twice, but 3 times. Yes, it gave a lot of content, it gave a lot of controversial moments. But any sane thinking official or any well advised or well informed official should have known that, we can't play any rogue entity in Operation Sindoor. That is why I didn't absolve the BCCI or the IPL Governing Council. They had their heads in the sand. Didn't they know what was happening in Dhaka? Didn't they know what was happening in Bangladesh? Yet you allowed players like Mustafizur to register, and conveniently, who gets in and jumps into the will? Kolkata Knight Riders. Kolkata Knight Riders bought majority of the Pakistan.
There were 3 other teams
exactly the price that just didn't jump to 9.2 crore.
You think Kolkata bid for it because they wanted to make a political point?
No. If they were aware Nobody would have bid for Mustafizur.
No,
but
that's
no.
not
Arey,
fair.
let's keep politics away from sport.
Hey, he's an international player. You know, we
shouldn't have had him in the pool.
Exactly.
You shouldn't have had him in the pool.
This is where foresight, calculation, administration comes into the picture.
Again.
What is the whole point of you cannot be, going to the MHA after there is an issue. This is exactly why you have close ties with the Ministry of Home Affairs.
Officials,
for purposes like this, this is what consultation is all about.
If officials and teams get out of their convenient bubble, they wouldn't even have bid.
No.
But they just don't know. They are blissfully
this is-
unaware of what has
No,
happened.
this is not on the teams, I feel.
It is on everybody.
This is not on the
If
teams.
they're saying IPL GC has said, okay, then we can bid. Then you get the backlash. Oh, we'll chuck him out.
No,
That
my
is
point
double the
is,
humiliation.
If I was to agree with you, Siddharth, and that's a point that you're making, that IPL shouldn't have decided in advance not to have him, BCCI should have decided, team shouldn't have bid, all of that I agree. Then what is the desperation of having Bangladesh now come and play? My point is exactly this.
What we saw in the Asia Cup.
If the stance is, let's have nothing to do with Bangladesh, the valid stance to have, if that is our stance, then it shouldn't be Bangladesh Cricket Board that should be saying. It should be BCCI saying we don't want to host Bangladesh in these many
It is.
Why is it now opposite? No, Bangladesh should play here.
It is two factors, greed and public image. Greed because you want to host everything, and second, the so-called farcical Olympic ambition that you've got. This Olympic ambition is one day going to result in such long-term disillusionment that you don't know who to trust. Your government is conveniently blind. This government is conveniently blind. It allowed Operation Sindoor thing to be played out like a PR machine. You don't care about Pahalgam, what happened, and you allowed them to play 3 times. You're playing them again. You're again playing Pakistan an ICC event. You don't care what is going on in
Despite not
Dhaka.
getting the trophy.
Despite not getting the trophy. And again, Asia Cup under 19, you played Pakistan twice.
By the way, we're talking about powers of ICC, and a lot of viewers, people writing to me on social media also, that why are you, giving us the side of Bangladesh cricket and all. And I told them that it's my job as a journalist to do that, to give you all sides. I am trying to give the best picture possible to you. If you want me to lie to you, I'll lie to you and say, no, Bangladesh will be kicked out, this and that. Tomorrow they're not kicked out, who will have egg on his face? So I have to give you a realistic picture. So my point is, if, here people are asking as to what should be done, what should not be done in Bangladesh at the moment, and then we side by side have a scenario where everything else is normal business, but
it will be unprecedented if it happens. Okay, let's make one thing where no nation has been booted out of an ICC event totally ever. It's never happened. Be it any kind of things, it's never happened. If it happens, 2026 will then define.
It has happened in, let's say, it happened at the Olympic level where Russia was removed. Wimbledon, you didn't have the Russian players participate. Yeah. But on that occasion, the entire world isolated Russia together. Yeah. Or when apartheid happened, the entire world came together. That can also happen. But for that, then you need to find a way to get everyone, a BCCI, and that has to be done at a political level. For your government to get rest of the countries together saying, listen, isolate. But are you in that position right now?
No way. It showed during
America can do it.
Yeah.
Because they are the big daddies and everyone has to toe their line. And whatever they want, everyone else for. Are we the big daddies right now?
No way. We are not even close. We had an epic...
We are the big daddies in cricket.
Even
we are the big daddies in cricket. We are. No, we are.
Yeah,
but even
economically we are.
Yes.
Economically, but skill-wise, though, I know where the board is heading. We are not even caring about the game. Let's make no mistake about it, okay? But we saw in the Asia Cup, this government is incapable of doing even the basics right. How can I expect any stakeholder in the ICC T20 World Cup? I had said 3 litmus tests. India, Bangladesh, India, Pakistan. Not just Asia Cup, even T20 World Cup. I had said in 2024, whether this government will pass the test. In all 3 instances, because of the greed and because of the PR that they want to have a good image of themselves.
I don't want to get into politics. That's not our job to,
It is not politics. We saw in the Asia Cup. Any other incident can happen. Let it happen. We want our cricket. Greed. And this Ridiculous.
No, but my counter question to that is, why does cricket only then become the sacrificable lamb?
Yeah.
Your tennis keeps happening, nobody raises an eyebrow. You go play in Pakistan also, all other tournaments keep happening.
Hockey happened.
Everything
In the
happened.
middle of Operation Sindoor, you had beach volleyball.
Beach volleyball, yeah.
But cricket then, no.
Junior tennis also happened.
Junior tennis happened.
Yeah.
Everything happened. Which is where our Indian...
Bridge competitions were taking place until last year.
Which is why epic fail. In all instances, it's an epic
Cricket
fail.
has to be
And I'm
singled
telling you
out.
what is going to happen. All of Bangladesh's matches will be moved to Sri Lanka.
You think that is going to happen?
That is going to happen because every entity in this particular sport are greedy. They want a clean image here. Let it happen of all these kind of situations. We don't work on principles. You will move the matches to Sri Lanka.
It's laughable what's happening at the moment. How many days did you say that? 25.
25 days remaining.
Matches, I'm saying, okay, in the best interest of the hosts, the co-hosts, whatever, ICC, BCCI, BCB, all entities involved. You want a match at the end of the day, jaise marzi ho jaye, right? You want a match. That's how the tournament goes on with minimal noise. You will have that. What about when? So I'm saying that decision comes tomorrow, earliest. 24 days left. Fans of Bangladesh cricket, fans of the teams that they are to play against, what do? What happens? We all know as consumers what happens to last minute ticket pricing.
Oh.
What are you expecting then? Does the sport grow in such a scenario?
Nobody cares about fans.
That's what I'm saying. This is a farce.
Sport is around television rights. We are talking about Bangladesh fans. How many Bangladesh fans will anyway come here?
I'm saying even if it's 200 fans. Even if it's 200 fans.
No, nobody cares.
Nobody
They're
cares.
just 200.
Exactly.
The World Cup 2023 happened. 0 Pakistani fans were allowed.
Yeah.
The journalists were also not given visas. So nobody cares about that. The business runs on television rights. All other sport, these things, the way they're, like you go to Olympics, I've covered Olympics, you know, every little thing is taken care of, whether it's your media accreditation, fans, whether you have great relationship with a country or not, but everything is managed to the T. I'm afraid in cricket, it is always about the bigger picture that has to be looked after. Broadcast rights are done, broadcaster has got what it wants, teams get what they want, that thing has to be done. Everything else will fall into place anyway. Media will come, they will cover. We have not invited you, you're coming anyway, cover. Fans will come, we have not invited you, want to watch, go.
But again, sport cannot grow if there's not attention given to fans. Simple.
See, barring Sena, which entity looks after the fans? Oh, nation in South Asia looks after their fans. Pakistan doesn't, Bangladesh doesn't, India definitely doesn't.
It's all down to supply and demand. So
their demand is too much.
The urge to consume cricket is so high in the subcontinent that those who are in a responsible position know that, you know, even if there are few unhappy people out there, they will always have more people in the pipeline to take care of. Simple.
That's the thing.
Tickets are never easily.
There's a Pat Cummins who wins the World Cup, silences a crowd of 1 lakh. And then there's nobody to greet him at the airport.
In Australia,
That's
egalitarian.
You win the World Cup here at home. Sir pe, you will only, players will not say sir pe. You will
which is nice also.
It is
nice
good, but
that there is that love for the sport. People care about it.
Which is why you go
but they should not be taken for granted because they care.
And what do you get then? Without winning the World Cup, you go to the stadium and you want to use the washroom. The urinal is missing. Or taps are not there. Tap is there, water is not there. Water is there, the dryer is not there.
India and civic sense epic fail.
No, that will happen the day our fans wake up. No, cricket fans, they wake up. They say we love the sport, but we're going to mistreat us. We're not going to go to the stadium. But the thing is, there are just so many of us who wants to go and they want to click a picture, put it on Instagram, and just be seen, and everyone goes. But I think the way the fans, I've said it before, the Indian fans are treated in stadium not great. Infrastructure-wise, you made good stadiums, no denying. But that infrastructure exists for teams, it looks good. Otherwise, there is good lighting, there's everything. Fan is last of my concern.
Lowest of the low.
Bottom of the food chain.
Lowest of the low. That's why.
Anyway. Okay,
pathetic.
Let's dive into some of the questions that we've got. Okay.
Tend a Satch is saying.
Tend a Satch.
tender search.
Ashna.
The entire team came for 4 crore, including Rohit. Virat was 7 crore.
Oh, this is
Salman 4 crore.
this is
From
the Shark
yesterday.
Tank guy he's quoting.
Yeah.
The one that I was
Yeah,
talking about.
absolutely.
Ah.
So we said that yesterday. There's no denying. In fact, I don't think if 10 as such you saw our debate yesterday. I think that the discussion, the first part was exactly that Virat is in a league of his own.
Yeah.
I don't think you saw that.
68 average and all that. RS and VK can score at 200 plus strike rate in T20 if they don't bat through. But again, why are we bringing T20s in this whole scope of things? I just don't understand.
300 plus win chases Virat Kohli 700s and 250s average 120 strike rate 125.
Did we ever dispute that?
Yeah, I'm just
Nobody is
saying. What did
disputing,
he
yeah.
say
He's saying
yesterday that's
exactly
upset
what-
him that he's throwing all these numbers at us
No.
with vengeance?
Yeah. Gaurav Kandoi is like saying, Sid, you have issue of superstar, but it is required to sell a product. It comes from giving quality over long time, just like Nixer brings to this channel. Oh, superstar.
Arey Gaurav, yeah, thank you.
No,
very
but
much for the
Gaurav-
kind words.
yes.
But I agree with his larger point that you need superstars in any sport. I don't know why every sport survives because of superstar. Every
mean,
sport.
see-
Where you are living in this. In your voting pattern, you're right wing. In your thinking pattern, you're very left wing. That egalitarian, thing, everything should be equal, socialist. And how will that happen?
No,
You're in a
it's
capitalist
not
world.
socialist or anything in that sense. But then see, in India, it is warped into something far more dangerous. For example,
That's everything will have a byproduct.
Yeah.
But your sport cannot exist without stars. It needs its stars.
see, I understand. But
Like every sport.
in the Indian ethos, I don't agree with the superstar culture. Because
No,
because of your
superstar culture, taking things for granted is what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Vis-a-vis not having superstar.
that is the thing. I have the superstar culture thing, which is why these one set of superstar fans are abusing Kyle Jamieson because he got rid of.
Stupidity.
It
Everyone
is.
is like that. There will be
This
bad
is like-
apples
and,
everywhere.
that reminds
You
me of
paint
that
everyone
World
with
Cup
the
time.
same
Remember that video of Virat flipping the bottle? Bottle doesn't fall right.
the bottle.
He was flipping the water bottle. There was some
that-
water,
you know
and he was
that-
just trying to flip the bottle. And the challenge is to get the bottle in its place, and it stands then. But it's difficult, no? But there's
It is.
Yeah, so the bottle did not land in its right place, and it fell over. So people went down to the Instagram page of that bottle of that company, and they were then abusing the
I know.
brand for that. But that's just
It's
it's ridiculous. It's
Banana.
They are an embarrassment. Let's just make that clear.
Yeah, but they're a very small minority. Not everyone is.
I'm not.
just
so sure.
minority being what 200,000
We have such nice,
comments.
sensible, cricket-loving people who join us.
Actually,
every
they are in a minority. The ones who join us and are sensible, they are the minority. The rest of the world is flooded with toxic fans of all the TNs. Jasbir Singh is saying, Nikhil, just tell me, if tomorrow Australia says to Indian team, we will provide security to you, but if Arshdeep plays, risk will be high, and your fans can't say India, India. Should India send the team in that case?
No, I have said this, Jasbir, you're absolutely right. That's why I said this yesterday as well. If you look at it from Indian point of view, if you ask me if one of our player was, let's say, Big Bash, now you don't send your players or whatever, was, unceremoniously removed because of some, I'm not saying that there was, I backed the decision of not having Mr. Fizu, but I'm thinking like an Indian, so I back it. But it would have hurt Bangladeshis for sure. I don't think they can internalize it by saying, oh yes, there are attacks happening, so it's fine, we'll do it. Nobody thinks as rational as that. So I don't think they are. But you're right, if Australia, in fact, forget that, when there were charges against Harbhajan Singh in Australia and they were going to, ban him, we put our foot down saying, no, we will go back, we cancelled the door. They had to take the step back and find a solution. Now, if you look at it from an Australian point of view, they'll say, what's wrong that we are doing, but they had to backtrack. We had a situation in South Africa, 2009, Mike Denise leveled some serious charges against some of our stars. We said, nothing doing, we'll quit the tour and come back. You take those charges back. You did it. So each person stands for their own country and the pride of their own country.
Yeah. Dhanush is saying ODI easy format. Joe, Kane and Smith combined 4700s.
Yeah. Dhanush, we've discussed that. I think that's a completely
proper
different
dugout
debate.
that.
Joe, Kane and Smith don't play as many ODIs.
Yeah, well, but they're not as successful in ODIs as Virat is.
Of course. Whereas they're much more successful in
All
tests.
format, whatever.
Yeah.
Just no comparison.
No comparison, yeah. Shiks is saying, Pak-born USA team players visa denied by India's embassy, government, BCCI, they don't coordinate that the event is about to happen here. This behavior won't help us in any tournament hosting. Olympics and all our dream.
That I agree. I think that, either you decide whether those teams should come here or not. Once you have agreed that those teams are going to be coming, there has to be something in sync. I'll give an example of my own, this thing, like, you know how tough getting visas to US is, okay? And especially the waiting time. But then when USA hosted the Cricket World Cup, which is not even their most important sport, not even like in the top 15 sports that, they hardly even know about it. But when they knew that this event is happening, their government got in sync and we got our visas very far. As journalists, as players, and everyone, whether they were from India, Pakistan, wherever. So I'm saying that there will be greater scrutiny of people with Pakistan origin in India. That is also a fact. But I'm saying that the process needs to be identified well in advance. That this is going to happen. There are going to be players of Pakistani origin that will be coming as players of other countries. And this needs greater scrutiny. So let's start in advance. Or let's have a quick department that scrutinizes their application is done rather than dragging on till the tournament. I think, that better organization.
We
Again,
like that, yeah.
I think that greater scrutiny should be there.
Yeah.
But then it should be done, more efficiently.
Yeah. We'll take that.
Jasbir says that there are millions of Indian people from Muslim countries. All big companies are also in Arab countries. If they send back tomorrow millions of Indians, what will happen? Will it be okay? There are many cases against minorities over here.
No, but the thing, Jasbir, in that is, Indians, where they are model citizens. I mean, most countries where Indians are, they're respected for their hard work, they're respected for their discipline. Yeah, but if any country where Indians started creating a lot of ruckus, they, don't follow their rules, or, there are lots of cases from the Indians, whether they are criminal cases or violent cases, if they keep increasing, then those countries will also look at Indians like that. That's natural. So, generally, I think 99% of cases, Indians, wherever they are in the world, they are also subjected to racist attacks, but they are usually very, we are a hardworking community, very honest community. You can see that in most worlds.
Jasbir Singh is also saying one media outlet itself reported multiple attacks on Christmas. In
India?
Yeah, in India. If actions of a
There
few...
were, let's be honest. Yeah.
If actions of a few justify sending people back, in the case of Mustafizur, then should all Christian countries also send Indians back after
but there's a slight
Christmas
difference.
attacks?
I agree what Jasbir is saying, that there were a few stray attacks on Christians during Christmas that happened in India. It was reported, it's on record, agreed. But that was... If that trend continues for a long time, then I think there could be cases where certain Christian countries then do it. Sure. But in India's case, that didn't happen. No, there were just stray incidents that happened. And, you were able to bring that under control. But in Bangladesh, they're continuing to happen.
Yeah.
That's the other difference.
King 007 is saying, if Virat maintains his fitness and keeps churning the runs and is motivated to play beyond 2027 World Cup in ODIs, will he be able to allow to continue in 2031?
King.
Oh God.
I don't think even Virat can answer this question.
Yeah.
I think take enjoy. He's playing. There's so many ODIs to watch him play now.
20
and
ODIs.
then till 2027 and the World Cup. So
He wants
enjoy that.
2031 also, yeah.
Wow.
After that, we'll see. How old will he be at 31? He is right now 36, 37.
37.
So this year he'll turn 38.
1980.
36 no, Siddharth?
Yeah, he will turn 37 this year.
November.
Yeah.
No,
He
he's
is already 37.
So he'll be 38,
38 in
39. By 2030 he'll be 43.
No, not. I know he's supremely fit, but I don't think he himself will carry on. The fact that he gave up on Test cricket means he's seeing an end to his international cricket.
Yeah. I think he'll finish the story on
2027.
27.
Yeah, even
He'll
I
finish
think.
the story.
He may continue to play IPL few more years, but I think his international career he'll call it.
He'll call it quits, yeah. King 0079. Someone is primarily a batter, not a leader captain, and has 29 pieces of luggage, travels separately and stays at different place. How does that impact the team? We had done a long this thing.
I like how this has been put.
Yeah.
29 pieces of luggage. No comments.
No comments, yeah.
Raj Sharma.
If Bangladesh behaves like this, then India should not even play bilateral like Pakistan.
Yeah. That can be a step that India is very well within their right.
This with all the drama that has happened, how is it that India travelled to Bangladesh in August, which is a scheduled ICC bilateral series? Bangladesh have already made a public statement saying that when they put out their schedule for the year out, they had India alongside Australia for this year.
Yeah.
I don't see with all that has happened, how do you put all of this behind or brush it under the carpet and have the Indian team visit Bangladesh? There'll be
Not
absolute riots over here in our own country.
Look, there is an election coming up in Bangladesh, which is why it's going to be too problematic. King going on a rampage all over again. Not Sachin, Lara, Smith, Bradman, Root. Virat Kohli is the greatest batter of all time in cricket. All three formats, including IPL, no filter. Wow. He's not the greatest test batter, I'm sorry. He's a great white ball player, one of the greatest ever, but test, I'm sorry, he's not the
I
greatest.
agree with you. Not better than a Tendulkar or a Lara.
I don't know. I really don't know.
But ODI, yes.
ODI and white ball cricket, yes, definitely the greatest. The Anush SL, Kohli played 308 ODIs, Root plus Kane plus Smith 531 ODIs. But again, Root plus Smith plus Kane 531 and Virat Kohli alone 308. The Anush, come on. Jesus Christ. Any kind of, either he's been too funny or he's fallen flat. Simple.
No, don't take that.
I
know
can't.
what he's saying.
No, what is he saying? But
This is the last
where Prada, the
something about this is
perfume
off.
in the office. In the evening, you wear another Pegasus, Male Pegasus in the evening. La Nuit de la
Nuit
by
de la
YSL.
at night.
Oh, goodness.
He's basically giving us suggestions
I don't know what
which fragrances to buy. Thank you. Yeah, but we can't afford some of these very high profile, expensive ones, King. We don't have that kind of.
Yeah,
We're
he
poor
must be
people.
having a lot of money.
We're
Indeed.
poor people. We are paid journalists, but we don't get paid that much also. Okay, Anshu Mishra says, Nixa, Messi visit was the biggest foreign visit, bigger than even Bieber's 17 visit. But the kind of reception Messi received was nowhere near the reception Vikrant sir got during his
True that.
True.
that.
True. Though Kolkata might disagree. Messi got there.
Yeah. Sachin Tendulkar.
Sri Lanka now stands as the only country in Asia capable of hosting a cricket tournament on its own. That's true. The lack of unity in Asia will hurt these nations and ultimately damage world cricket. It's a very good point.
If you want to save
Very important.
cricket, host it only in Sri Lanka.
But Siddharth,
Don't host it in India, Bangladesh or Pakistan.
Sri Lanka
By the
cricket
way,
is
for
also
fans also, it's an amazing place.
Amazing place, exactly.
Better than Bangladesh, India, Pakistan.
Exactly.
In stadium experience.
But Sri Lanka cricket is also fighting its own battles.
No, they have no money.
Exactly,
They
no
will
money.
make money
Ticket
through
price about 11,000 rupees a seat and all. What?
No,
Not obnoxious.
Sri Lanka.
Sri Lankan.
Yeah.
Which is about 4,000.
But we
Indian,
saw
5,000.
empty stadiums, be it one day cricket, be it test
T20
cricket.
World Cup people might buy.
Yeah.
Let's see.
But I'm just saying they're fighting their own battles as well. They're not a financially robust
They aren't. But then again,
unit.
if you want great experience, if you want to ensure all these nonsense politics doesn't impact, do not host in India, Pakistan or Bangladesh. Host all in Sri Lanka. I guarantee you it is going to be awesome experiences. It's tremendous. Sri Lanka is really a place where you've got so many picturesque venues. You've got Dambula, you've got Kanji, you've got Gaul, you've got 2 in Sri Lanka, in Colombo itself. 3 in fact. 3 stadiums in Colombo alone. Hambantota.
Hambantota.
Then there is one more. I don't know whether that will get developed in Jaffna. There is one stadium. So why not? Why not? Yeah, but Again, India, Pakistan and Bangladesh themselves won't allow.
I have a joke there, but I'll say it for
Okay,
after,
sure.
after we're done with the show.
Sure. Okay. Anything else? Abhishek Ranjan, okay. Next, sir, is Ayush Badoni a correct replacement for Washington Sundar? Can Shahbaz Ahmed or Prashant Veer be
I
considered?
know a lot of people are a bit surprised with Ayush Badoni's selection as well, but I think his bowling, his off spin has really gone in his favour. He was
Except 20 odd overs he's bowled. I was looking at his numbers. Yes, he bowled in the India A matches for against South Africa and Australia A last year. I think he was part of that as well, where he bowled. He was economical. That's the thing about him. He was economical. But yeah, it's
no, I think you're looking primarily as a batter.
I think you wanted off
And
spin.
even for yes, and also look at Washington's case. I've often said that he is a far more accomplished batter than a bowler. I think at the moment, and I think that's the replacement. Badoni is an out and out batter who can now chip in with a few overs. I think the priority is batter chahiye.
I think
who can roll his arm over rather than bowler who can bat a bit.
I think if Riyan Parag was fit, maybe he would have been the one.
Been in contention. You're right.
He's still, I think, recovering from the injury layoff that he's had.
Correct.
Yeah.
Right.
Brian Lara is also saying Virat is the only batter in the top 9 overall.
They are such big players.
Yeah. Run getters to have overall average more than 50 and test average less than 50. Yes.
Yeah.
Is ODI and T20I averages are staggering, but test 46. Ouch, that will hurt.
Okay, last two comments. Kevin John Abraham says Palakele, where you can have matches there.
That's Kandy. Yeah. Palakele.
Siddharth says views on Xabi Alonso's sacking. Don't you think Real Madrid old age mantra of collecting all Galacticos and playing on individual brilliance have no more dividends and required planned recruitment with a process? This is too long a debate, Siddharth, but we can have a quick view on Xabi's sacking.
I think
it was shocking.
Yeah, even I think too early to let him go. He had one Clasico win. This one was a close game. Too early, but with Florentino Perez.
You have treated a club legend like this.
They sacked Ancelotti the year he could not win the league. He won Champions League.
Champions League.
Lost La Liga, they sacked him.
Yeah. I think this is taking cutthroat to the next level.
Yeah.
And overkill. I think this is
Ruthless.
overkill.
They're ruthless Madrid.
Yeah, very ruthless. It's too early to sack him.
But in
That
terms
way
of the
though,
football,
United will be changing manager every fourth game.
That's also true.
Carrick, right? Is stepping into
Carrick
the
is
poison
the new
chalice.
guy. Yeah.
Unfortunate. Yeah.
Okay, final question. Prabal Rai says, according to you, who are the greatest fast bowlers trio in Test cricket history, and will you keep Pat Cummins, Stark, and Josh over McGrath, Lee, Gillespie?
No, I won't. For me, it's McGrath, Lee,
See,
Gillespie.
Yeah, over Gillespie, I'm possibly looking at Stark.
Individually, I'll put McGrath ahead of all of them. Ahead even Stark.
Of course.
But combined, Cummins, Stark, I'll put Hazelwood ahead, McGrath, Lee, Gillespie. Combined.
Yeah.
Combined.
See, it's an awesome.
Combined, which unit are you picking?
The
Cummins, Stark,
Josh
Hazelwood.
Combined.
Yeah, that trio are simply awesome. Come on.
Very good.
It's a...
Look at the quartet they've had for a decade here. Cummins, Stark, Hazelwood, Lyon.
Yeah.
And if there's no Hazelwood, Scott Boland.
No, quartet wise, so you had a Vaughan over there, na then.
Vaughan.
The whole quartet changes. Then it changes completely. Exactly. The moment you add Vaughan over there, then it changes.
Genius.
So Nathan Lyon is not to be taken lightly, but
the
again,
best off spinner.
Comparison with Vaughan, then that.
Yeah, Vaughan was the greatest leg spinner. I mean, if you give me the Vaughan versus Muralidharan thing, I would always put Vaughan ahead. Miles ahead.
Most people do.
Murali with that action, unfortunately, led to a
But it was cleared.
Yeah, but again,
yaar.
I mean, unfortunately, the late Bishan Singh Bedi said he picked up 800 javelin throws.
No,
in that sense.
but that's fine. People can have their opinion, and I was very fond of Bedi sir.
Yeah.
But I think that was harsh. He went through tests. He had a condition. So.
And if you look at off spinners, Nathan Lyon any day over R. Ashwin.
Yeah. That's because of his performances all across.
Everywhere, yeah. Ashwin never did well in the Sena. He's done well everywhere. Nathan Lyon, that's why. And greatest fast bowling trio.
No, a good shout out will be
Stain Mockle Philander.
No, Andy Roberts, Michael Holding, and
But weren't they a
the
quartet?
Big Bird.
Quartet, huh?
No, not quartet. He's talking about
Yeah,
a trio. no?
What in a trio? But those four are always in a Garner, Marshall, Holding, Roberts.
Yeah. So then you can make a quartet with Marshall. No, Marshall came later. It was time with a trio.
For me, Stain Mockle Philander. South Africa for a brief
Also very
period.
good. Good
21st
shout out.
Yeah.
generation.
Very good shout out. Very good. But
And in the modern era, Bolt, Saudi, Wagner.
what about Bumrah, Umesh, Shami?
Yes.
No,
for 3 years, they were running through oppositions like
Or maybe Ishant
hot
sometime
knife,
if-
like a hot knife through butter. They were.
What about Broad, Anderson, and rest of England?
Nah. Although I would have said Broad, Anderson, Swan. For a brief period,
No,
that
we were only
trio,
looking at trio
Pacers.
of Pacers.
No, I
huh?
think this is a good call.
The third one was
Cummins,
always
Stark,
changing.
Josh
Bolt,
Hazel.
Saudi, Wagner.
Bolt,
Bolt through swing, Saudi through swing, Wagner, relentless, hit the deck.
Okay, we'll take your leave. Thank you so much. With that, another edition of the Dugout comes to an end. We'll see you tomorrow. Do let us know in the comment section your views on this entire fiasco. As I said, it's not ending anytime soon.
It isn't.
But I don't think it'll take too long. Maybe either ways, whatever happens, you have a tournament without Bangladesh or the games are moved to Sri Lanka. I think only two options are left in that sense. I think the middle ground that they're trying to find as of now seems next to impossible. But whatever the call is, we'll know very soon.
We'll continue tracking the soap opera for you.
Yeah, indeed. Tomorrow is the
That's
second
what it's
ODI.
become.
Let's see. Can India
Is
seal
this
an
better
ODI
than
series?
Saas Bahu serials? Cricket, I think it's become now.
Nah, this is diluted. The Asia Cup was a real
Saas Bahu is
Saas
all
Bahu.
manufactured. This is all true.
True.
Real story.
Drama, full on.
Asia Cup was far better than this. This is nothing.
Asia Cup was next level.
Next
drama.
level. Yeah.
Not getting into bus is getting parked, then the bus is reversing.
Yeah.
Players come down to the gallery, then they walk back. What nonsense.
It was
Only in cricket.
Only with Pakistan.
Only in cricket.
Yeah.
Siddharth, how is it that the team doesn't turn up or turns up an hour late and that is condoned by the governing body? How does that happen? In which other sport will this be condoned?
That's why cricket is not to be taken seriously. Can't. That's why. See you. Nandri, Vanakkam, Shubhratri, Shabba Khair. Eat your vegetables. And happy Lodi. Bye-bye.